him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack 'em a gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And JJ French reflected on his life following the downfall of Twisted Sister and the wider hair glam scene in the early 90s, claiming how he knew that a massive shift was ushering in by grunge was going to happen. He knew this was going to happen. The great downfall of hair metal, which coincided with the rise of Seattle's underground bands, aka grunge movement, is remembered as both one of the greatest tragedies and as one of rock's biggest triumphs, depending on one's point of view. The industry darlings of yesterday found themselves without a platform to promote their music virtually overnight, and many of the movement's icons had to seek smaller gigs or even regular jobs, as was the case with Twisted Sisters Dee Snider and JJ French. In a new interview with Dean Del Rey's Let There Be Talk, I love that podcast. I think Dean gets like all the killer guests, man. Twisted Sisters business mastermind and rhythm guitarist, he also played lead, said that he saw the crash coming thanks to being sober at the time. He also noted that his band, Personal Crash, preceded the broader downfall of others' 80s icons. He says, the crash was perceived by me in a very strange way because I don't drink, I don't do drugs. It wasn't clouded by weirdness. In fact, I knew exactly what was coming. It wasn't a shock. I could see the writing on the wall. And by the way, our Personal Crash preceded the end of the hair metal band scene, which was taken down by Nirvana in one afternoon. Had we lasted a couple more years, it would have shared the same fate that Warrant, Poison, and everybody else felt. By the way, this whole thing, everybody's rewriting history as far as Nirvana came along and that was it. Everything was over. No, man, it's still, the hair band and all that stuff was still lasting a couple more years before it all did come crashing. Yeah, you can say Nirvana was responsible, but it wasn't overnight. That is complete horseshit. 3 years later, when Teen Spirit came on and their careers were wiped out like a dinosaur after the meteor, we had already ended. But there's kind of people in the world, those who make it happen, those who watch it happen, and those who go, what happened? I was never going to be that kind of person that said what happened. I was either going to watch it happen or make it happen. So in the end, the end was coming. I saw it and it hurt severely. It coincided with the divorce. And it was like a whole mishmash of stuff. The bankruptcy and all that. And I was kind of bemused at the irony of my life. Like, as smart as I was, and as hot and big as we got, I said, wow, so this is what 15 years worth of work is like? I walked out of the bankruptcy court and I'm thinking to myself, damn, all that fucking work, all that success, and now all I have to show for it is 2 Subway tokens and a guitar and no wife. And I said to myself, there's gotta be a better way. Wasting no time, JJ immediately went looking for a new job. And he said, and so right away I got into this survival mode. And a friend of mine owned a gym chain. And he said to me, listen, we just brought some pool halls in Manhattan. And I'll pay you to run the pool hall overnight. And to save you the indignity and running the pool hall, tell people who recognize you that you're the owner of the pool hall. The pool hall managing job gave way to JJ's stint as a stereo salesman, but he eventually decided that he didn't want to be a salesman forever. That's when the offer to produce Seven Dust's self-titled 1997 debut album, which his Twisted Sister bandmate Mark Mendoza came, and the door of the music industry opened for him once again. He said, as fate would have it, the Seven Dust project kind of came up. I just did it, flippantly, thinking maybe the record will sell 10,000 copies. Lo and behold, I produced a record with Mark Mendoza, and the record is almost platinum and becomes the biggest selling record. And now I'm managing the band, making more money than I ever did with Twisted Sister. Encouraged by Seven Dust's success, JJ finally gave up his job as a high-end audio salesman. But the early 90s had another surprise in store. He said, if fate would have it, Twisted Sister became gigantic, bigger than ever in Europe and South America. And we're playing massive shows, and we walked away on our terms. All right, here's number one. I call bullshit. He did not see it coming. Nobody saw it coming when grunge came and wiped the floor with all the bands, where everybody talks about how grunge killed hair metal. It killed all metal. Dio were playing clubs, Priest, Maiden. They're not glam. And how about thrash metal? Thrash metal was obliterated. Every thrash band went into all right, we're either going to be doom metal or groove metal or what have you. Thank God thrash came back. I started a thrash band and thrash wasn't back yet when I started mine. Anyway, so yeah, this whole thing of I saw it coming, give me a break. Yes, grunge would have totally killed Twisted Sister. The only bands to survive of that era was Aerosmith, Ozzy, and who else? I'm talking about hard rock metal. I think that's about it. AC/DC was another one. But yeah, man, this whole thing of grunge wiping out just hair metal is far from the truth. But before Nirvana came and changed the world, they were kind of, helped a bit before they became big, because before grunge took over everything, REM was a big deal. And they were very alternative. Red Hot Chili Peppers with Mother's Milk did really good. So, with the alternative nation, it was growing. It was swelling. And you had your superstar grunge acts that by the time, really alternative acts. Because grunge is really, it was alternative music. And some metal, because I'm sorry, I think Alice in Chains and Soundgarden were very metal at times. But, Nirvana was punky, and Pearl Jam, I don't know what to describe them. I like their first two albums, but I'm not a big fan of them, But anyway, my point is that JJ French didn't see it coming. What are you, Nostradamus? More like Nostradumbass. I don't buy that for a second. But, and really, Seven Dust sold that much? Platinum? I don't know about that either, man. Maybe he's right. I don't really keep up with Seven Dust or, none of that stuff. But all I know is that I am an SMF. And I love me some Twisted Sister. Especially the first three albums. The next two had a couple songs I liked. But Twisted Sister were awesome, man. One of the greatest live bands I ever seen in my life. And, yeah, they called it a day, but now they're getting offers that they may get back together. And I really hope if they do, they come down my way, because every time I see Twisted Sister, with the exception of when they opened for Maiden, because that sucked. But every other time, they owned every band that they played with. The problem with the Maiden show was Dee Snider got in a fight with some guy in the front row and wasted too much time fighting with some dude. I'm telling you, man, it was like 10 minutes of this bullshit. And then later on in the show, JJ took the microphone and said, we're not playing The Price tonight, and the whole place booed. It was just a bad vibe. And the funny thing is, I was telling everybody, Maiden's going to get their ass on. because Twist Sister's too good. I don't care if you make better records than Twist Sister. If you're going to play live with them, you're going to get your ass handed to them. Well, that didn't happen at that Iron Maiden show because Iron Maiden was on fire. That Power Slave show was awesome. It was better than Live After Death because I got an audio bootleg and Bruce sounded way better at the show I was than on the Live After Death show. That's what I think. But anyway, what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. I really would love if you did that. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, please check to see if you're still subscribed, because people are getting unsubscribed all the time. I keep getting comments over and over again of people saying, man, I got unsubscribed again. And there's people that have been unsubscribed more than once. It sucks. So please check to see if you're still subscribed. If not, come back. I miss you, all right? And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.